Hey, Stoic warriors, welcome back. You died last night, not metaphorically, not spiritually. When sleep took you, the person you were yesterday ceased to exist. And right now, in this exact moment, you're being reborn. The question isn't whether you'll wake up. It's whether you'll wake up as the same scattered, unfocused ghost who's been sleepwalking through life, or as something entirely different. The ancient Stoics had a word for this daily resurrection: premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. But they weren't talking about dwelling on negativity. They were talking about acknowledging the war that begins the moment consciousness returns. Because make no mistake, there is a war happening inside your skull every morning, and most of us don't even know we're losing it. Marcus Aurelius, while leading armies across frozen Germanic frontiers, scribbled these words by candlelight: "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He understood something we've forgotten in our comfort-obsessed world. Focus isn't found, it's forged in the furnace of resistance. Feel that knot in your stomach, that grinding sensation behind your eyes when you realize another day is demanding your attention. That's not weakness. That's your potential screaming to be unleashed. Every morning, you stand at the edge of two futures. In one, you remain a passenger in your own existence, tossed around by every notification, every demand, every shiny distraction. In the other, you become the architect of attention itself. These 10 lessons I'm about to share aren't comfortable. They'll make your skin crawl with recognition. They'll expose every lie you've been telling yourself about why you can't focus. Because the Stoics didn't build philosophy for weak minds seeking comfort. They built it for warriors seeking clarity in chaos. Some of you will watch this entire video and change nothing. You'll nod along, feel inspired for exactly 7 minutes, then return to the same fractured morning routine that's been stealing your potential for years. But a few of you, the rare ones, will recognize these words as the battle cry you've been waiting for. You'll implement these lessons with the fury of someone who's sick of being mentally murdered by modern life. Before we detonate these truth bombs, and you need every single one because they're designed to work in sequence like combination locks to your hidden focus, slam that like button if you're ready for transformation. Comment below right now. Share this weapon of mental mass construction. Subscribe and activate notifications. Miss even one lesson, and the entire fortress crumbles. Now let's dive in. Number 1. Burn your mental escape routes. Tomorrow morning you'll wake up with 1,000 escape routes already mapped in your mind. Snooze buttons, social media, that quick check of messages. Each one is a trapdoor to mediocrity, and your brain has memorized them all like a prisoner knows every crack in his cell. Epictetus, who went from slave to philosopher, delivered this psychological sledgehammer. No one is free who is not master of himself. But he wasn't talking about motivation. He was talking about literally destroying your ability to choose weakness. You want to know why your focus shatters every morning? Because you've left yourself too many options. Your phone sits there like a loaded syringe of dopamine. Your laptop beckons with infinite rabbit holes. Your bed whispers sweet lies about 5 more minutes. Every escape route you leave open is a dagger you hand to your weaker self. So here's what you do, and this will feel like ripping off your own skin at first. Tonight, put your phone in another room. Not on silent, not face down. In another room. Delete every app that steals your morning focus. Set up barriers so massive that your weak morning self would need a sledgehammer to break through. You know that panic rising in your chest right now? That voice screaming, "But what if there's an emergency? What if I miss something important?" That's your addiction talking. That's the parasite that's been feeding on your focus, terrified of starvation. The Stoics practiced something called voluntary hardship, deliberately making things difficult to build mental calluses. Every barrier you create between yourself and distraction is a rep in the gymnasium of focus. Every escape route you burn is a victory won before the battle even begins. When you wake up tomorrow and reach for that phantom phone, you'll feel naked, exposed, anxious, good. That discomfort is the sensation of chains breaking. That anxiety is your mind realizing it can't run to its usual hiding places. Now it has nowhere to go but forward, nothing to do but focus on what actually matters. Stop leaving doors open for your weaker self to crawl through. Burn the bridges, salt the earth, make weakness impossible, and watch focus become inevitable. Number 2, the cold shower crucible. Water, ice cold, hitting your skin like liquid electricity, your body screaming in primal shock, your mind frantically searching for exit strategies. This isn't torture, it's transformation. And the Stoics knew something about cold water that we've forgotten in our temperature-controlled bubbles. Cato the Younger, the Stoic senator who chose death over tyranny, would walk barefoot through snow and bathe in freezing rivers. Not because he was insane, but because he discovered this truth. The willing, destiny guides them. The unwilling, destiny drags them. Every morning, that cold water is destiny asking you a simple question. Will you step in willingly, or will life drag you through discomfort anyway? Let me paint you a picture of what happens in those first 30 seconds under cold water. Your amygdala, that ancient lizard brain, explodes in panic. Every nerve ending fires betrayal signals. Your lungs contract, your muscles tense. This is your body's emergency broadcast system screaming that you're going to die, but you don't die. You evolve. After 60 seconds, something miraculous happens. Your mind stops negotiating with discomfort. It stops looking for escape. It surrenders to the present moment with such totality that suddenly you're not thinking about your phone, your problems, your anxiety. You're just present, completely, utterly, violently present. This isn't about building toughness. It's about murdering the negotiator in your head, that voice that spends all morning bargaining with discipline. Maybe I'll exercise later. Perhaps I'll start that project after coffee. I'll focus once conditions are perfect. Cold water kills that voice in 30 seconds flat. Every morning you step under that freezing cascade, you're making a declaration to the universe. I choose discomfort on my terms before life forces it upon me. You're practicing the art of non-negotiation. You're teaching your neurons that comfort isn't a prerequisite for action. Start with the last 10 seconds of your shower tomorrow. Just 10 seconds of pure cold. Feel your mind recoil. Feel it beg, then smile because you've found your teacher. The cold doesn't lie. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care about your feelings. It just is. And in that brutal honesty, you'll find the focus that no amount of meditation apps or productivity hacks could ever give you. Number 3, the morning pages purge. Your mind is a sewer at dawn. Anxieties, fragments, yesterday's arguments, tomorrow's fears, all floating in the murky waters of consciousness like debris after a storm. And you wonder why you can't focus. You're trying to think clearly through psychological sewage. Marcus Aurelius knew this. Every morning, the most powerful man in Rome grabbed his journal and bled ink onto pages. Confine yourself to the present. But he wasn't writing poetry. He was performing mental surgery, extracting the poisonous thoughts that would otherwise metastasize into distraction. Here's what's actually happening inside your skull every morning. Your subconscious spent all night processing, sorting, filing. But when you wake, all that mental inventory sits in your conscious mind's loading dock, blocking everything else. Those random worries, that conversation from 3 days ago, that vague sense of dread, they're all squatters in your mental real estate, so you evict them. With extreme prejudice. Grab a notebook, not your phone, not your laptop, actual paper, and vomit 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing, don't think, don't edit, don't stop. Let every toxic thought, every stupid worry, every petty resentment splatter onto the page like blood from a wound. Write about how tired you are. Write about that person who pissed you off. Write about your fears, your doubts, your rage. This isn't journaling. This is mental detox. You're literally pulling thorns from your psyche and examining them in daylight where they lose their power. The first time you do this, your hand will cramp. Your mind will resist. You'll write, "I don't know what to write," 50 times. Perfect. That resistance is the sound of mental constipation breaking. Keep going until 3 pages are full. No stopping, no editing, no mercy. What emerges after those 3 pages is silence. Not the fake silence of suppression, but the real silence of evacuation. Your mind, finally empty of its toxic cargo, can now focus with the precision of a laser beam. Those problems that seemed overwhelming, they're just ink on paper now. Those anxieties that felt insurmountable, they look pathetic in your terrible handwriting. Every morning you skip this purge, you're trying to focus through mental pollution. You're attempting precision while drowning in your own psychological waste. The pages don't judge, they just receive. And in that receiving, they give you back something priceless, a mind clean enough to cut through reality like a blade. Number 4. The Memento Mori Morning Meditation. Death is sitting on your shoulder right now. Not metaphorically, not eventually, right now. And the Stoics didn't just acknowledge this, they weaponized it into the most powerful focusing tool ever conceived, memento mori. Remember you must die. Seneca practiced it daily. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. But this isn't morbid. This is the nuclear option for focus. Because when you truly grasp that this morning might be your last, suddenly checking Instagram seems laughably insane. Let me tell you what happens when you genuinely contemplate your mortality for 5 minutes each morning. Not in some abstract philosophical way, but viscerally. Imagine your funeral. See the faces. Hear the eulogies. Feel the weight of words never spoken, projects never finished, potential never realized. Feel your children, your partner, your parents standing over a box that contains what's left of your abandoned dreams. Uncomfortable? Your skin crawling? Good. That discomfort is your soul recognizing how much time you've already buried alive. Now zoom back to this morning, this precious, irreplaceable morning that you'll never get back. Suddenly, that Netflix binge last night feels like robbery. That hour scrolling TikTok feels like murder. Every moment you've spent in unfocused fog feels like a crime against your finite existence. The Stoics understood something we desperately try to forget. You're dying one morning at a time. Each sunrise you waste in distraction is a sunrise stolen from your dwindling supply. You don't have 10,000 mornings left. You might not have 1,000. You might not have tomorrow. This isn't about creating anxiety. It's about creating urgency. When you internalize, really internalize that this could be your last morning to make something matter, your focus doesn't just improve, it explodes. Suddenly, you can't afford distraction. You can't afford to wait for perfect conditions. You can't afford to negotiate with procrastination. Start tomorrow's morning with 5 minutes of genuine death contemplation. Set a timer. Sit in darkness. Imagine yourself on your deathbed tonight, looking back at the day you're about to live. What would you regret not doing? Who would you regret not becoming? What meaningless bullshit would you wish you'd ignored? Then open your eyes and live like someone who understands the assignment. Focus like someone whose time is running out, because it is. Work like someone who might not see another sunrise, because you might not. Love like someone who knows every goodbye could be the last, because it could be. This morning's focus isn't just about productivity. It's about honoring the statistical miracle that you woke up at all. Billions of potential humans will never exist. Millions who existed are already gone. And here you are, complaining about Monday, procrastinating on your dreams, letting your focus scatter like ashes. What an insult to the dead. What a betrayal of the gift. Number 5. The obstacle inversion practice. Every morning, you wake up hoping nothing goes wrong. Every morning, life laughs at your naivety and serves you a fresh plate of chaos. Your internet crashes, your kid gets sick, your boss demands the impossible, and your focus shatters like glass against concrete. But what if you're playing the game backward? Marcus Aurelius, while plague ravaged Rome and Germanic tribes threatened the empire, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He wasn't writing motivational posters. He was revealing the most radical reframe in human psychology. Your obstacles aren't blocking your focus, they are your focus. Tomorrow morning, instead of praying for a smooth day, do something insane. Plan for disaster. Sit down and imagine everything that could go wrong. Your car won't start. Your presentation fails. Your relationship explodes. Your health collapses. Feel that anxiety rising, that terror creeping up your spine? Perfect. Now you're finally being honest about reality. But here's where the magic happens. For each imagined disaster, you create a response. Car won't start. You'll take the bus and use that time to read presentation fails. You'll learn exactly what not to do next time. Relationship explodes. You'll discover who you are when you stand alone. Health collapses. You'll finally appreciate every pain-free breath you've been taking for granted. This isn't pessimism. This is psychological ammunition. You're preloading responses to chaos. So when it arrives, and it will arrive, your mind doesn't scatter into panic. It executes predetermined protocols. You've already fought these battles in your imagination, so reality becomes just another rehearsal. Watch what happens to your focus when you expect obstacles. That client who cancels last minute. You already planned for it. That technology that fails. You have 3 backups. That mood that crashes. You've got protocols for that too. Nothing surprises you because you've surprised yourself first. The average person spends their morning energy hoping life will be easy, then spends their entire day recovering when it isn't you. You're going to spend 5 minutes expecting hell, preparing for war, strategizing for chaos. Then, when your day turns out even slightly better than your worst-case scenario, you're not relieved, you're energized. You're not grateful it wasn't worse. You're powerful because you were ready for worse. Every obstacle that shows up becomes fuel for your focus instead of water on your fire. That traffic jam becomes thinking time. That cancelled meeting becomes deep work time. That rejection becomes redirection. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become an alchemist, transmuting every piece of lead life throws at you into gold. This practice will feel psychotic at first, planning for failure while everyone else plans for success. But after a week, you'll notice something extraordinary. Nothing rattles you anymore. Your focus becomes anti-fragile, growing stronger with each stressor instead of weaker. You become the eye of every storm, calm not because the world is peaceful, but because you've made peace with chaos. Number 6. The Digital Sabbath Protocol. Your ancestors fought lions. You can't even fight the urge to check your phone. Every notification is a predator, but instead of running, you invite it to feast on your attention. The Stoics would look at our morning phone addiction and see exactly what it is: voluntary enslavement. Seneca wrote, "Every man is in bondage to fear who depends upon chances for his happiness." Your phone is a slot machine of chances. Every scroll, a pull of the lever. Every notification, a maybe this time hit of validation. You're not checking messages, you're gambling with your consciousness. Here's an experiment that will reveal just how enslaved you've become. Tomorrow morning, don't touch your phone for the first 3 hours after waking, not for alarms, not for weather, not for just checking the time. 3 hours of digital Sabbath. Feel that instant panic, that voice screaming about missed opportunities, urgent messages, breaking news. That's not logic talking, that's withdrawal. You're literally addicted to a device, and like any addict, you've built elaborate justifications for why you need your fix. During those 3 hours, watch your hand unconsciously reach for the phantom rectangle. Watch your mind manufacture emergencies that require immediate checking. Watch yourself become irritable, anxious, almost angry at the absence of digital stimulation. This isn't just habit. This is your nervous system in revolt, demanding its drug. But here's what happens after day 3 of this protocol. The anxiety transforms into electricity. That energy you were feeding into infinite scroll redirects into your actual life. Your mind, no longer fragmenting itself across 17 different apps, consolidates into something you haven't experienced in years: singular focus. You'll write more in those 3 hours than you did all last week. You'll solve problems that seemed impossible when your brain was ping-ponging between notifications. You'll have conversations with your family where you actually see their faces instead of the top of their heads while everyone stares at screens. The world survived for millennia without instant communication. Your morning will survive 3 hours. But here's the savage truth. Most of you reading this won't even try. You'll find excuses. My job requires it. People depend on me. What if there's an emergency? These aren't reasons. They're symptoms of digital Stockholm syndrome. Every morning you wake up and immediately mainline digital chaos into your consciousness. You're choosing to fragment your focus before the day even begins. You're volunteering to be a reactive puppet, dancing to notification strings. Number 7. The negative visualization chamber. Happiness is making you weak. Comfort is making you soft. And every morning you wake up expecting life to continue normally, you're setting yourself up for devastating distraction when it doesn't. The Stoics had a practice so psychologically violent that modern therapists would call it dangerous. They called it premeditatio malorum, and it's your secret weapon against mental fragility. Epictetus, who knew actual chains before he knew freedom, taught, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Then make a list of things that could take it all away. Tomorrow morning, spend 10 minutes in what I call the negative visualization chamber. Sit in complete darkness. Now, systematically imagine losing everything you love. Your partner leaves you. See the empty side of the bed. Feel the crushing silence. Your job disappears. Taste the humiliation, the fear, the mounting bills. Your health crumbles. Experience the weakness, the dependency, the slow fade of capability. This isn't masochism. This is inoculation. You're injecting controlled doses of loss into your psyche so that the fear of loss stops controlling you. You know why you can't focus. Because somewhere in your subconscious, you're constantly defending against potential losses. Every decision carries the weight of, what if this goes wrong? Every action is filtered through anxiety about consequences. Your mental energy hemorrhages into protecting what you have instead of building what you want. But when you've already imagined losing it all, really imagined it, felt it, tasted the ashes in your mouth, something profound happens. The fear loses its teeth. You realize you could survive the worst. You understand that everything you're clinging to is already gone. You're just borrowing it from entropy. Now watch what this does to your morning focus. That presentation you're nervous about. You've already imagined failing spectacularly and surviving that difficult conversation you're avoiding. You've already lived through the relationship ending, that risk you're afraid to take. You've already experienced total loss and discovered you're still breathing. Suddenly, you're free. Free to focus without fear. Free to act without anxiety. Free to pursue without panic. Your mind stops spending energy on defense and redirects everything into offense. This practice will feel like psychological violence the first time. You'll want to stop, to return to the comfortable delusion that everything will be fine. But comfort is the enemy of clarity. Security is the enemy of strength. And every morning, you refuse to confront potential loss. You give that fear power over your focus. The paradox the Stoics understood: by imagining loss, you appreciate presence. By accepting worst cases, you create best cases. By killing your attachments every morning, you resurrect with pure focus on what actually matters, not protecting what you have, but maximizing what you can create with whatever time remains. Number 8. The sacred no ceremony. You're drowning in yes. Every commitment you've made, every obligation you've accepted, every favor you've agreed to, they're all stones in the backpack that's breaking your focus tomorrow morning. You're going to conduct what I call the sacred no ceremony, and it's going to feel like amputation. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire but wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." He understood that every yes to mediocrity is a no to magnificence. Every commitment to the trivial is a betrayal of the essential. Grab a piece of paper. Write down everything you've said yes to. Every project, meeting, obligation, social commitment, favor, subscription, membership, recurring task. Everything that has a claim on your time. Don't stop until the list makes you nauseous. Now comes the violence. Cross out 80% of it. Feel that resistance? That voice screaming about letting people down, burning bridges, being selfish? That's your people-pleasing parasite, and it's been feeding on your focus for years. It's convinced you that disappointing others is worse than disappointing yourself. It's lied to you that being busy means being valuable. Here's the brutal mathematics. Every yes fractures your focus. You have exactly 16 waking hours. Every commitment is a withdrawal from that account. Most of us are so overdrawn that we're borrowing focus from tomorrow just to survive today. We're focus bankrupt, declaring mental bankruptcy every night, then wondering why we wake up feeling behind. Tomorrow morning, You're going to send the messages, "I can't do this anymore. I'm stepping back from this project. I need to cancel our recurring meeting." Each one will feel like social suicide. Your people-pleasing nervous system will convulse. Your fear of judgment will scream. But after you've amputated these focus parasites, something miraculous happens. The mental bandwidth you've been hemorrhaging into obligations suddenly returns. Your calendar opens like clouds parting. Your mind, no longer stretched across 17 different commitments, snaps back like a rubber band into singular, devastating focus. The sacred no isn't about being antisocial. It's about being truthful. Most of your yeses were lies anyway, half-hearted commitments you never wanted to make, delivered by a version of you too weak to disappoint anyone except yourself. Number 9. The Morning War Council. While others stumble into their day like drunk soldiers into battle, you're going to conduct a military briefing with the only ally that matters, yourself. The Stoics didn't just practice philosophy, they practiced strategy. And every morning without strategy is a day surrendered to chaos. Epictetus commanded, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." But he wasn't suggesting gentle intention setting, he was demanding battlefield clarity. Tomorrow, before the world wakes up, you're going to hold a war council, not a to-do list, not a schedule review, a strategic military briefing where you identify enemies, assess weapons, and plan attacks. First, identify the enemy, not people, forces, distraction, procrastination, perfectionism, comfort. Name them out loud. These aren't abstract concepts. They're active combatants trying to murder your potential. Give them faces. Give them voices. Know exactly how they'll attack today. Second, assess your weapons. Your willpower. How much do you have in reserve? Your energy. Where is it strongest? Your environment. What needs fortifying? Your allies. Who can you call for reinforcement? Be honest about your ammunition. If you're running on 3 hours of sleep, don't plan a 16-hour siege. Third, plan the attack. Not defense. Attack. What hill will you take today? What territory will you claim? What one victory, if achieved, would make everything else irrelevant? This isn't about checking boxes. This is about identifying the one battle that, if won, wins the war. Write it down. Not typed, written. In large letters, place it where you'll see it constantly. This is your battle standard, your rallying cry, your North Star when the fog of war descends. Here's what happens when you approach your morning like a general instead of a civilian. You stop being surprised by resistance. You expect combat. You anticipate ambush. When distraction attacks, you're not caught off guard. You're executing contingency plans. When procrastination whispers its seductive lies, you don't negotiate. You remember it's the enemy and treat it accordingly. Every morning without a war council is a day you've already lost. You're walking onto a battlefield blindfolded, hoping random actions lead to victory. But focus isn't won by accident. It's won by strategy, violence of action, and absolute clarity about what hill you're willing to die on today. Number 10. The Phoenix Hour Ritual. Every night when you sleep, the person you were burns to ash. Every morning, you have exactly 1 hour to decide what rises from those ashes. Most people waste this hour scrolling through digital garbage, emerging as the same mediocre phoenix that burned yesterday. You're going to use it to resurrect as something unprecedented. Marcus Aurelius understood resurrection. Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm, and round it the seething waters are laid to rest. That headland is rebuilt every morning by conscious choice, not random chance. The Phoenix Hour starts the moment consciousness returns. For 60 minutes, you're in a sacred reconstruction chamber, no input from the outside world. No one else's thoughts, opinions, or agendas, just you and the raw materials of transformation. First 15 minutes, physical resurrection movement so intense it burns away yesterday's staleness. Not exercise, exorcism. Push your body until your lungs scream, until your muscles shake, until sweat pours like a cleansing flood. You're not working out, you're burning the old you as fuel for the new. Second 15 minutes, mental resurrection. Those morning pages, but with violent intention, write like you're carving your thoughts into stone. Every word is a decision about who you're becoming. Every sentence is a brick in today's fortress. Write until your hand cramps, until thoughts become clear, until the mental fog burns away. Third 15 minutes, spiritual resurrection. Meditation, but not the gentle kind. Sit in absolute stillness and feel the war inside. Don't suppress it. Witness it. Watch your thoughts crash like waves, your anxieties circle like vultures, your desires pull like magnets. Don't judge. Don't engage. Just watch the chaos and choose not to become it. Final 15 minutes. Strategic resurrection. Plan your day like you're planning an invasion. What empire are you building? What legacy are you leaving? What one thing accomplished today would make you proud to burn again tonight? This isn't a morning routine. This is a daily rebirth ritual. While others drift into their day carrying yesterday's corpses, you emerge forged in the furnace of intention. You don't hope for focus, you manufacture it. You don't wait for motivation, you resurrect with it, embedded in your bones. Every morning you skip the Phoenix Hour. You're choosing to remain ashes. You're volunteering to stay dead, shuffling through another day as yesterday's ghost. You've just received 10,000 years of Stoic wisdom compressed into brutal morning practices. Not theories, not philosophy, battle-tested protocols for mental warfare. But here's the savage truth. 95% of you will do nothing with this. You'll feel inspired for exactly 3 minutes, then return to your scattered, reactive, unfocused mornings. You'll hit snooze tomorrow. You'll reach for your phone. You'll let another morning, another chance at resurrection, slip through your fingers like sand. For the 5% who actually implement even one of these practices, you're about to discover what the Stoics knew. Focus isn't a skill, it's a conquest. Every morning is a battlefield, and these weapons are now yours. Start with one. Just one. Tomorrow morning, choose your weapon and wage war against your weakest self. Then add another and another, until your mornings become so powerful, so focused, so intentional that the person you were today won't even recognize the titan you become. Drop a comment below. Which weapon will you wield first? Share this arsenal with someone drowning in distraction. Subscribe if you're ready for more brutal truth. Write this bow. My mornings are sacred. My focus is fierce. My potential is infinite. The war begins at dawn. Will you show up?